Hey guys, welcome back to the SRU Campus Rec YouTube channel. Name is Alex. So for this session today, what we're going to be going through is another full body static stretching cool down and dynamic warm up. So the first thing we're doing today is going to be chest hugs. We're going to do this for 10 reps, and then from there we're then going to go into the rest of the exercises. So with this one especially, it's just making sure that once you're in that middle position that you kind of pause just to get that squeeze on the chest. So the second one's actually going to be arm circles. For this one, it's more at 10 seconds per forward and backward rotations. So and with this one also, it's trying to make sure that you're kind of pressing your arms into the socket themselves as you're going through, just to kind of help with engaging the shoulder muscles as well in a more active warm up than more of a passive, just kind of letting your arms go. So from here on, we're then going to be doing a few variations of the hip swings. So the first one that we're doing is going to be just a forward hip swing. We're just kind of bring our leg up as high as we can forward and as far back as we can on the back pull. So the next one we're going to be doing then is, after this, is going to be more of an angled hip swing. It'll kind of look similar to a horizontal hip swing, except in this case it's kind of in the name. You almost kind of just want to make sure that the leg is coming across the body at an angle versus more of a horizontal position that we'll go into later. So for all the hip swings, we're just going to be doing 10 reps for all the exercises, and also just 10 reps per leg. So making sure with these ones too, you're really trying to, in all of them, either kick all the way out if you're going for the side ones, or as high as you can upward for both the forward and also angled one as well. Just really trying to take the hip through its kind of full range of motion on all of these warm-ups that we're doing. So now we're going to switch legs, and from there we're actually going to go into a deep squat hold. So for the deep squat hold, again with this one, it's trying to go actually more for about 10 to 20 seconds on the squat itself. So here you're kind of just going to have two different views of it. With this one especially, if you want to, once you're kind of in that deep squat, so you want to kind of move side to side a bit. That can also kind of help with not only getting you kind of used to being down in that deeper position of the squat, but also generally help with kind of loosening up the hips a bit. So next what we're going to be doing is just assisted lunges. So in this case, I'm using my hand to kind of rest on my leg on the down phase, and when I'm trying to come up, then I'm actually going to be kind of using my arm and hands to kind of press off to kind of get me up through the lunge. So for all these, we're going to be doing them for in this case 10 reps total, but instead it's going to be 5 reps each leg. If you want, you can do 10 reps each leg, but that's more up to you. So to finish up the dynamic warm-up, we're going to do traveling butterflies. This not only helps with again getting some blood flowing to the legs, but also generally helping with engaging the hip flexors and even the hip abductors and adductors as well. which can sometimes be a bit of a problem area for people with getting them engaged. So with these, you're down in this kind of angled sit position, obviously in a butterfly, and then you just want to kind of press your legs out through your toes into full leg extension. So for this next static warm-up that we're about to get into, we're going to be doing chest openers. For these, I'm going to be using a band. If you want, you can also use a towel or even a broom or something similar to that you can just kind of hold on to for making sure that your hands don't really move off of a very kind of parallel position. So with this one, it's making sure that you're first pulling back the shoulder blades together as tightly as you can, kind of holding them there, and then raising the arms back behind your back as high as they will go. And once you're as high as they will go, it's kind of then holding that position for the full 30 seconds. So we're going to be doing all these stretches for today. If you need to go longer, you can. I would recommend about up to 60 seconds, just to possibly prevent any kind of injuries to the tendons, ligaments, or muscles, possibly caused by overstretching them over a longer period of time if you do so. So next one's actually going to be just an overhead shoulder press stretch. With this one, obviously we have our hands over top of our head, and we're actually going to kind of be pressing through our hands upward to stretch out the shoulders. From there, we're then going to go right into ragdolls. So we go right from a active to more of a kind of passive stretch. So with this one, it's cross your arms, as you can see, and then I'm just kind of letting my arms kind of dangle out in front of me. Again, this is going to be more of a passive shoulder stretch. You also kind of feel this in your hamstrings as well, but it's just making sure that you're not really forcing the arms to be pressed down into the legs. You're just kind of letting gravity do the work for the stretch. So, next stretch that we're going to be doing is going to be towel pull. In this case, I'll be using a band. Again, if you need to, you can use a towel, sweatshirt, old shirt, whatever you kind of have at your disposal. So with this one, in this case, I have my upper arm, in this case, being more in a passive position, and I'm just kind of allowing the bottom arm, in this case, my right arm, to pull that upper arm into the stretch. So with this one too, it's making sure that you're kind of getting a better stretch if you need to. It's going higher up on whatever you're using to possibly allow yourself to feel the stretch a bit better. As you might have noticed there, I started off a bit lower in the stretch, but then I moved up the band as I went to kind of keep that tension on the tricep, keep myself having a good stretch. As with all these stretches, and as I've been saying across all these sessions, it's making sure that you're going to the point of mild discomfort and not pain, because pain is more indicative of possible damage to the musculature and all of its surrounding components, which we want to try and avoid, because at the end of the day, stretching should be more of a relaxant than something that you have to actively work through. So the next thing that we're going to be going into is just a simple standing quad stretch. And again, for this one, we're just trying to pull our heel to the butt. In this case, I'm having my hand on the top of my foot, and I'm just kind of pulling it into my body. If you need to, as you can see, I'm using a desk as kind of support to kind of help with stability. If you want to, you can always just do this more as a freestanding stretch. So, and we see here, I'm just switching positions. Again, pulling the leg into the glutes as I'm doing this to get a better stretch on the quads. And with doing this as well, if you are trying to do it freestanding, I would possibly suggest using that opposite arm more as a counterweight, just so you're not kind of having to bounce all around if you might be having trouble standing in the position for the full 30 seconds for the stretching. So the next one that we're going to be doing is it's a heel raised toe touch. In this case, it's kind of a calf stretch and a bit of a hamstring stretch as well. You'll definitely feel this one more in the calves than you will in the hamstrings, but it does its job quite well. So this one, as you can see, I kind of have my foot in about a 45-degree angle, and I'm just reaching down, making sure to kind of flex on my hips to come down and touch my toes. And then once it's in that position, I'm kind of just holding it there, and over time, slowly kind of inching my way down my foot to try and get the stretch a bit deeper in. If it's kind of slipping or it needs to be tightened up a bit. Alright, so the next stretch that we're going to be doing is going to be a spread eagle stretch. It has to help with not only stretching out the hips, but also into the hamstrings as well. So with this one, I'm actually going to be spending about 15 seconds in each position instead of the full 30, just because I'm going from 3 different positions. So first off, I'm going to my right, again, trying to see if I can touch, in this case, the outside of my foot. Then I'm going to a middle position, trying to see if I can't touch my hands to the floor. Making sure with all these, if you need to too, I'd probably say starting off with the middle might be the best idea, because it can definitely tell you if you need to bring in your stance a bit more versus the outside leg stretches. And then obviously here I'm going then another 15 seconds to the outside of the opposite leg. Making sure also when you're doing this, you're flexing at the hips and even kind of engaging the core a bit, not as if you were trying to do crunches or anything, but just kind of like engaging the core throughout the exercise. So next thing we're going to be doing here is going to be a bit of a back stretch. This is going to be the thread the needle stretch. You'll definitely feel this not only in your lats, but also into your rear delts as well. So as you can see here, I'm actually going to be demonstrating a few different positions. You can go for this one depending on your flexibility. So this one, I'm kind of changing in between, going from my forearm to off of my hand. So at one point I kind of just settled for this one, just because, at least for me, it's the most kind of effective. And slowly over time, if you need to, you can go from hand to your hand right under your shoulder to your hand about out further, as you can see here, to almost under your forearm. That can just be a bit of progression that you can be looking for as you go through your own stretching program. So this one again, is when you're doing it, you want to have, in this case, left arm against the ground, and having it lay there, kind of almost also as you're doing it, kind of allowing the body to twist out as far as you can until you feel in that point of mild discomfort in the stretch. And then you're just kind of sitting in there with that, in that kind of twisted position that you can currently see. Alright, so the next stretch that we're going to be going through is the piriform stretch. So with this stretch itself, it's kind of similar to a knee to chest, except in this case, instead of pulling the leg straight to the chest, you kind of are pulling it. You're pulling your knee across the body. And not only do you feel this into like your back and your glutes, but also you'll feel it in higher tailbone area. And this is definitely going to help with generally stretching your low back, because if you're having to spend a lot of time sitting, as a lot of us are, because we have to work from home and we're in front of computers a lot of time, the piriformis area can get very tense, and that can kind of lead to some low back pain. So this stretch can definitely help out if you just want to incorporate that into any kind of low back, just general spine stretching routine that you might have adopted during quarantine. So here's just a better angle. As you can see, I have my left ankle on my right knee. And again, I'm just kind of pulling that left leg across the body, kind of to my right side of to my right chest pec. Alright, so the second to last stretch that we're going to be going through today is going to be a pancake stretch. So with this one, I have my legs fully spread apart, feet outside the shoulder width, and then I'm just kind of flexing at my hips and trying to get my hands to kind of resting into the ground if you can. But at the same time, you'll definitely feel this not only in your low back, but also into your hips and your glutes as well, and even into your hamstrings, because you want to make sure that when you're doing this, you're kind of pressing your knees into the ground as you would with any kind of seated toe touch. So, last thing we're going to be going through today is going to just be a knee to chest stretch. Again, we're going to be trying to stretch out not only the glutes and hips, but also the low backs and even into the quad a bit as well. So with this one, so you can see, I'm going to start off with my right leg. I'm going to be pulling it up to my chest. As you can see here, I'm going to be demonstrating at least a few different hand positions you can have when you're doing this, but it's more up to you and what you feel might be giving you the better stretch. So it's either back behind the knee, or you can do it up on top of the leg, slightly under the knee, or even if you can, it's grabbing about where the shin is, and then just pulling the leg back into the chest. So here's more of a different angle for that. So I just want to thank everyone for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Bye.